Welcome back to the Workbench, where uncut and unedited, you can watch me, a guy, try to make things. And what we're making, or probably coming pretty close to finishing today, is the Accurate Miniatures McLaren M8B Can-Am model kit. And we're actually at the bodywork portion of the build. So we're finishing up here. If you have not been keeping up, here's what we've got so far with the chassis, or we've basically finished up the chassis. And now what we need to do is just finish up the bodywork. And if you need to get caught up on this series, the playlist is always down in the description, so you can get kind of caught up to where we are right now. But what we've been working on right now is trying to get the color, the paint done. So we've got to get the white and the orange done to kind of match the lightning bolts of the decals. And that's what I've been working on. And in fact, I did the black last night. So let me just show you kind of the back end here. We got the black all painted in. I've actually already given it a little bit of a light sanding. In fact, I've given everything a little bit of a light sanding so we can go ahead and start putting on the decals. There was also a little bit of overspray back here. It was kind of the only spot really of overspray, which I just lightly sanded and it came right off. We talked about this yesterday, but I'm going to leave this edge here to be painted flat black. So we still have to do all of the underside flat black, which we're just going to do by, hand brushing. I think will be the best way to go. It'll give that impression of the of just kind of fiberglass underneath. I don't think we have to worry too much about things being perfect on the underside. But I am going to include these edges with the flat black, or at least the edge around the motor. I think I'll leave these leading edges, these front edges, or what could kind of be the door jambs, I guess. They're going to be painted, but the engine bay, and I think around this guy also, which sits, actually goes right in here. And I still haven't decided if I'm going to glue this in or not. Let me know what you guys think if I should glue it in. Obviously, if we glue it in, it can never be installed on the car because then you couldn't get it around the rear wing uprights. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it off. But either way, I think I'm going to do the edges the flat black. I think it just gives more of a motor compartment look, I think. I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I also wanted to show you before we move on that I did paint the front stripe, the black stripe up front here, which came out good enough, I think. And then I've been trying to lay this white pinstripe, which I'm actually adjusting as we speak. It obviously, because these decals are so old, it did break in a few places on me, so that's what I'm having to try to make sure gets, kind of put back together and you don't see the breaks in the stripe. So basically this white stripe you see here, the pinstripe, that's a decal. And man, it's so thin. I knew it would. I tried my hardest to not let it break, but I think I'm just going to let it sit right over here. Try not to touch that front part there. Let it kind of cure up. I think I've got it. I don't know. I think I've got it looking good enough for what we're doing. I mean, let's be real honest here, guys. We ain't winning any awards with this model, so I think that's going to do the job. I think that's going to be just fine. I do need to try to get it to lay. I'm just noticing I need to get it to lay into this is the hardest part, is to get it to lay into this hard bend right here. So it's starting to dry up just a little bit. Maybe I can get it to, that side's okay. All right, I think that's a little better. Now, what I thought we would do together is go ahead and try to decal out this backside. Oh, I didn't even show you. After yesterday, I went ahead, because we had the doors all finished up, I went ahead and laid the kind of the Z in place, and I'm pretty happy. It looks pretty good. We still have to get the top side of the 54s in there, which maybe we'll try to do here at the end. But I did want to try to go ahead and lay, because I did those off camera, I want to try to get the back side of the Z's in, which are these decals L and M. So let's go ahead and try to get that done together. I'm going to cut them out. In fact, let me just cut that top off like that. We can set that aside, because that just leaves us with our, I guess, lightning bolt decals. I guess these are lightning bolts, whatever they're supposed to be. Let's see. Go here. Kind of want to cut the letter. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll just cut them in half. like so. And then which one goes on this side? It's going to be this guy here, M. Let me double check that that's right. So yeah, M. All right, and I've got a little thing of water here. Let me pull it over so you can kind of see it on the edge of the screen there. I'm going to drop that guy in. In fact, I'll just go ahead and drop them both in, like so. And then we'll try to go ahead and lay those. Hopefully, I haven't tried this yet, so hopefully it works. Like it hits our color break well, and then it lines up. So this is the door that goes on this side. It'll line up halfway decent with this door here. We're going to find out. Yeah, we'll see how it works out. Go and dunk those in a little bit. I'm going to move these out of the way, these decals out of the way, because I don't want them to get damaged. They are old and fragile. I've had the issue a few times so far of having decals kind of break up on me. As they get older, and this gets old, I think it's from the 90s. I'm not for positive on that. Let me see if it says on the box. While we're waiting on this, I can try to find out if it had 1998. Yeah, so 1998. So it's a little bit of an older kit. And these you know, we all know these decals, they'll get fragile, but they're actually not in bad shape. I've had older kits like that where they're just useless, you know, because they sit in a garage somewhere where it's hot and they get very brittle and yellow and all that. These are at least usable, so far, at least. Anyways, let's see. Now go a little longer there. Where's my rag? Okay. Yeah, so, oh, and I think I've got the rear wing pretty much to the point it's going to get as far as, I used some decal fix on it so you can see how it, or hopefully you can see how it kind of sucks it in around all these rivets. So it looks more like paint and not just a decal. I think some of it I might, yeah, it looks pretty good. I think I am going to give it a coat of something over top just to protect, more just to protect the decals. I mean, I had a good comment on the last episode about, you know, how these are race cars, and obviously any race car once, and especially customer cars where you don't have, like this particular car did not, it was bought from McLaren. It didn't have McLaren backing. It was a customer car. And so they, you know, as you go through the season, they get worn in, you fix things how you can fix them, you fix paint how you can fix them. So by the end of the season, obviously it, you know, it's not in pristine condition. Now, when they start the season, I assume these bodies look pristine when they start, or close to pristine. It's still a race car, so it's the point being is you wouldn't necessarily have clear coats on it and stuff like that. I mean, I think you would early in the season. Obviously, day one, you want it to look as best you can, especially for your sponsors and all that kind of stuff. But it wouldn't have like a show car clear coat on it. But I still want to clear coat this body more just to protect the decals, just to, you know, give them a shell over top of them. Now, and I don't want to do, I could do like a satin, not necessarily a flat coat, but maybe a satin. But I don't know. I think I'll just go ahead and use the clear coat that we have, the U-Paul clear coat, to do that with. But I get I get it that, yeah, race cars most of the time are not in, you know, they're not show cars. Now your high funded stuff, you know, when an F1 car shows up at the track, it looks pristine, but that's also because you have high dollar sponsors on it. You know, there's a lot of money involved there, and they want things to look right. Okay, this is going to be a little bit difficult. So I'm trying to just lay it in on our paint, you know, where our paint is at, and I want to get this laid in the back, which looks pretty good. It needs to skim kind of right over top of the wheel well here, and then I want the end of this bolt, lightning bolt, needs to hit the door jamb, or I guess it's a door jamb, whatever you want to call it. But our white does not quite. Of course, it needs to have enough to fold down, and I don't mind if it wraps around a little bit. So I'm going to get it to, so we've got what the issue I'm having, we've got this vent here. So we've got a hard break this decal has to make, a hard wrap, I guess I should say. So I think what I want to do is get this all laid in place. Come on. Sometimes you try to make the smallest of moves with it and it moves half a mile. Sometimes you try to make a big move with it and it won't move at all. I want to make sure that we get that white covered there, or that get the orange covered. Yeah, it's really, I guess it's a little short, but I don't think it's going to matter. I'm okay with it. Like I'm actually okay with that. And then if that wraps around, that's fine too. But what I think I'm going to do is let that end kind of hang for a bit, kind of just hang out for a bit. Make sure we get this side down over our line. There we go. I think I'm going to let it hang out just like that, just for a bit. Now you can see we've got extra over here, but that's okay because it'll wrap around. It'll fold over this vent, make that, what is the wrap, I guess would be the right word, and then wrap that edge. I think that'll be fine, but I think I want to let this back end, and how much we have, just the slightest. It's hanging over the wheel well here. Just the absolute slightest amount, basically the width of that pinstripe. So I think that'll be fine too. Just like that. The lightning bolt is coming right to, it's a little forward of where they have it. Let me see how it's going to line up with the door if we were to actually put these together. So it needs to actually be a little higher, doesn't it? Let's see if we can do that. Yeah, let's bring it, whoops. Let's bring it up as high. Wow, I pulled it way forward too. I want to bring it up as high as we can and of course move it back. And just move it as high as we can before we start seeing, where we start actually seeing orange, which I think is about right there. It's about as high as we're going to go with it. Yeah, I like that. That looks good. Now, the rear piece, the engine cover, I guess you'd call it, and the door, they're never going to actually be mounted together on the car. So I'm not too worried if, they're a half millimeter off or even a millimeter off. What I'm more worried about is now I want this other side to match this side on this guy. That's more important to me. Because point case, there we go. Broke the the decal broke, which has been a thing. Let me see if I can get it off my finger. Get off me. I don't want it to break again. That's when it really gets tough, is when you start having a lot of breaks. Okay, so let's, again, let me look. I had the point on that point. Let me use something to point with. This point here is what I'm going to try, and it's just a hair off, try to line up or get the same. It's just a hair off of the vent front, so it needs to actually go, okay, about right. Wow, that's why is this one so much different? Well, at the end of the day too, we just got to kind of work with the paint we have. I think, does it need to rotate more? Is that the problem? I think so. It needs to go. How did this one go? Yeah, that goes up more. Okay, I think that's the issue. I didn't really have it. Yeah, and then so I just needed to rotate it more, because that point, is up at the top of the fender, like so. That's about where that is on the other one. So now what we need to do, see if we can get this to line back up. And see, okay, so up, up, up. Can you guys, hopefully, let me come back down here and frame a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Trying to line that brake back up. And now the thing that I worry about is at that brake, when this starts to dry, is it can pull away and then put a gap back in there. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But that's actually, I think, pretty good as far as where it's located. Look at the other side. Yeah, that's about exactly the same. So you know what? I'm going to set it down and see how it turns out. Kind of just let it be there. I don't want to mess with it too much. But yeah, so I think, I don't know, y'all can let me know what you think. Whoops. How that looks. I think it looks pretty cool. And then it'll get the clear coat over top, which will kind of protect it. I'll also, once this dries, which is going to take time, then I'll come back and lay this front side down, most likely using some decal fix. Now you have to be real careful because that decal fix will make it suck into whatever the shape is, whatever that shape you're working with, it'll suck it in there. And if it's too much shape, it'll crack the, it'll pull the decal further than the decal wants to go, and it'll rip it and crack it. So I need to make sure and get it kind of laid in there first, and then add some decal fix, which will then really kind of shape it into that form right there. But I want to make sure this backside gets adhered really well first. And I think as far as the back, is there anything else that goes on? Oh, there is this little decal here. I don't really want to mess too much. So I think I'll wait to put those on. And then we have a bunch that is going to go on the front here, a bunch of decals on the front. I don't want to mess with the front too much either, because I don't want to disturb the pinstripe I put on. I want to see if it'll get, I want to make sure it gets nice and adhered also. So I think what I might end up doing is putting the rest of them on in between episodes. Now, with that said, what I think I'm going to do, I'll put the rest of the decals on in between episodes. I think we'll do the number 54 tomorrow. We'll do the number 54 together, because that could be a huge disaster. And if it's a huge disaster, obviously I want that to be shown on YouTube, because I'm a glutton for punishment. I like to be, but no, I want to the things that are interesting and difficult and whatever, I want us to do together. So what I'll have to do is put the doors in place. In fact, you know what? The doors are good to go. We can do it now. Let's do it now. Let's try and do one now. So let's go ahead and set this. I forgot that these are actually nice and dry and good to go. Let's set the door in place. Is that the right door? Yeah. So the door fits. Let me just show you. So we have the radiator, and then there's a little bump right here, and they fit right in between the two, just like that. Okay, where's my decals? Let me catch a number 54, which is going to be a D. These are all Ds, so they're all the same size. Okay. There's 54 number plates, and they're all the same size. So let's get this thrown in here, and then we'll see how this turns out together. Let me go ahead and do that. Now this, you can see if I can lift it up, and I'm going to leave it like this. Kind of from that whole race car standpoint, the tub down here and the chassis and whatever, it's got some wear to it, basically from me handling it and using kind of bad paint, to be honest with you. And so, but it actually turned out, I think, a blessing. It turned out it looks good. So the rivets are kind of showing through. You can see where the paint's worn. I like that look. So we're going to have kind of a contrast where the 54 is on the tub and the 54 is on the door. But I think that's going to look cool because, again, the way we're going to do this, the plan is chassis, and then I'm gonna have all the body work. I'm gonna build some, trying to come up with some racks to hold the body work around it, kind of in it's not a semi diorama. I'll probably have a board. I don't have one here, but I'll use a board that all can sit on. I can probably paint the board up to look a little bit like tarmac maybe, and then have that kind of mounted around it, just to give a little bit of a semi diorama. Like, to me, a full diorama would have the figure characters and stuff. I'm not going to go that far with it, I mean, I guess we could maybe in the future. Maybe that's something we could do in the future, where we put in some tools and stuff around it. But I think it's just more, let's showcase the car. You can let me know what you think down in the comments. What would you do? But let me see if I can get this 54 on. We're starting to run a little long on time, so I want to do this real quick. Let me make sure we're in this kind of good frame here. Let me scoot it back like that. And what I think I'll do, I'm going to lay it in place. Now we're going to have to let it sit and dry, I think. And what I'll do is I'll leave it sitting. Well, I need to shoot my thumbnails, don't I? Yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll probably let it dry. I'm probably going to have to, I don't know. My idea was to let it dry, and then tomorrow we can try slicing it. So I'll try to figure out a way to shoot my thumbnail without actually cutting it. How about that? So we can do it together. My whole point is I want to do this together. Let's see how the 54, we're almost there, I think. I don't want to rip it, so I'm trying to be very careful. I've already had too many decals break on me. Yeah, let's see. Are you coming? Are you ready to go? Yeah, these things are a little on the stubborn side. Like I said, they're old, so they're a little stubborn. Yeah, I think it's going to look. I'm happy with how it's turning out. Let me know what you think down in the comments. How you think it's turning out. If there's anything you would necessarily do different, or even moving forward, if there's something you do. Hey, hit that like button too. It really does help as far as YouTube is concerned. That's what YouTube likes to see. Likes or dislikes, hit the dislike button if you really hate. And here, do me a favor too. If you hit the dislike button, I have no problem with that, by the way. I have no problem with you disliking this video. Let me know why. What'd you not like? If you've watched this far, you dislike the video, you hit the dislike button. I am open, trust me, I am open to constructive criticism. From the model making itself to the video making it, also. So I better hold this in place and then try to place this. And then I want to, let me see. I don't want to move the door too much. Let me see how it's supposed to, yeah. So it sits, I might have to get down low. You might lose me in the face cam. I need to get down low and then get the bifocals going also. I want to make sure the 54 is parallel to the earth. I think that's about right. And it goes, yeah, it kind of cuts. I mean, it really cuts right through the middle of the number. Can you guys, you guys can't even really see. Let me see if I can lift this up some. I think we're pretty, kind of using this. There's a body line right there that it kind of sits on. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to let that sit just like that. And I'm not going to, I'll shoot my thumbnail stuff and the photo to the show at the beginning of the videos so you can kind of see where the video is going. I'm not going to slice that. I'm going to leave this very much alone. Let me make sure, yeah, everything, I just want to make sure the door is where it needs to be, which it is. Okay. And I'm not going to touch that, and tomorrow we'll actually make the cut. But let me, like I said, hit that like button, leave those comments. Let me know what you think so far. Hit that subscribe button if you want to keep up with these builds. Check out the playlist down below if you want to get caught up, or all the builds are going in playlists on the main page. You can go check the playlist there if you want to watch some other builds. Yeah, let me know what you think. Hit the subscribe button, do all those things you do on YouTube, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Here we go. This night, you gotta find